every day to keep you and your kids healthy. Remember, that's We Can. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
The following is an independently produced program. The views expressed herein are not necessarily those of WXBR 1460 AM, Azure Media LLC, their staff, or management. They are strictly those of the hosts, guests, and callers.
Guess what day it is?
You're listening to The Sports Blast with Ashish Sharma.
The only shortcoming that the Broncos have versus the 07 Patriots is John Fox. I'm sorry, you're not Bill Belichick.
Brian Roach.
Gomes, he was punting beers. I mean, you know how fast a cup can go being punted?
David Pollard.
I would absolutely consider it a failure if they were knocked out in the divisional series.
And Mark Lozelle.
It's just a collective group. You know, they're dirt dogs. They get the job done.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Sports Blast on 1460 WXBR. Ashish Sharma, Brian Roach, Mark Lozelle, and David Pollard here with you. We got a jam-packed show for you, and I apologize in advance if we sound a little winded. That was quite a production meeting, boys.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
If you guys ever wonder what we do before the show during our production meeting, it's pretty much play wiffle ball for 1.5 hours.
It's pretty productive for a production meeting.
So, guys,
it is pretty cold out there.
It is. We're nice and energized for the show today.
Ready to go.
And, yeah, we got a lot of stuff, like I said. We'll be touching more on the Incognito situation, which kind of changed this weekend. Not drastically, but we did get some answers. Incognito spoke. That's something that we'll talk about in our first couple segments. We'll talk about the Pats, who were off last Sunday. They will be coming back with 2 primetime games, Monday night against Carolina next week, and then following up with Denver after that. Some Celtics talk. We got a good look at Andrew Wiggins and Jabari Parker. I know Mark over there sitting there. He's so excited to talk about that. And, of course, some Bruins. So we got pretty much a full jam-packed show for you guys here today. Obviously, Incognito this weekend opened up to Jay Glazer on whatever they call that, the Sunday conversation on Fox. And, Brian, I believe we have the audio of that, do we not?
Do we?
No, I think we do. We'll play that. I think I gave that to you. But he basically sat down with Jay Glazer this Sunday and said something along the lines of, he explained the prank, the lunchroom prank that we all talked about last week, where the entire offensive line sat down with Jonathan Martin. Jonathan Martin actually came over, and as soon as he sat down, they all got up and left. And Incognito said something like, that's something that we do routinely. And Mark, something that you told me right before we went on the air is that they just did that 2 weeks prior to that, and Jonathan Martin was one of the guys that was involved in it.
We have a 13-second clip, guys.
Okay, go ahead and play
Let's hear it.
I've never shied away about talking about my past. I've been a cancer in locker rooms in my past. I have been selfish. I haven't been a good teammate. And from where I started to where I am now is a world of difference.
So that's Incognito explaining himself to Jay Glazer. But, Mark, you were talking about something that Jonathan Martin did as well. He was involved in that 2 weeks prior.
Yeah, Miami Herald reporter Armando Salguero, he actually reported that he had a source that actually said a week before that happened, the incident where all the offensive linemen left Martin at the lunch table by himself, Martin actually did the same to Nate Gardner, his fellow teammate on the offensive line as well. So it's kind of a sissy move by Martin to actually, pull that kind of a move on the Dolphins.
Yeah, I had also heard somewhere that the two of these guys texted each other something like over 1,000 times in the past year. I mean, it was obviously a little bit, it wasn't clear last week how close these two may have been. But it seems like they were, they were close to each other over the years. And I don't know. I think that my opinion of Incognito doesn't change too much because of the language that he used. He's still a meathead, in my opinion. I don't think that him as a person, I don't look at him much differently. But I look at the situation a little differently.
And you know what's funny? During that conversation, he actually took it personal. It went to a personal level for him. He was like, people are actually questioning my credibility as a person, through my history of, bad times. But also, all the teammates in the locker room had positive feedback to the media. So
yeah, right. And you got
to have a contradicting story.
You got to back up your teammates. Obviously, I mean, I think last week we were kind of getting on Miami for backing them up. But I just feel as though, again, like, this doesn't change my opinion of this guy as a person. I understand that he thinks him as a person, he's taken a hit on his personality. But, I mean, he even said it himself. He hasn't been a good teammate. He's had problems in the past. It's a history thing with this guy. And, again, like, if you're going to come out this week and say, all right, like, I've been a bad teammate in the past, you better change something going forward, because you don't want this sort of thing to keep coming up.
And it's not just the support that he's getting from current teammates. It's former teammates. It's the media. Rondé Barber also defended Incognito this past weekend. He said something, I have a quote here. "I've seen the text messages. They," meaning Incognito and Martin, "are close, man." So, and Randy Moss also was right on that. He said, look, if you go in an NFL locker room and you see some of the stuff that is said back and forth.
That's why I said last week, I really feel like that kind of profanity is used all the time.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be shocked at some of the stuff that they say. And some of the insults, so-called, that they trade back and forth, the exchanges are, I mean, crude is one way of putting it. I think that's kind of a light way of putting it. And, I guess I can sort of relate because it reminds me of my family a little bit. In my family, if you're not insulted, you're not loved. So I guess when I saw that, I was like, well, maybe there is some love here, and Incognito Martin just took it the wrong way.
Yeah, and that's why I really think this story is getting too blown up, but there's other sub-stories which is getting me more aggravated regarding Incognito. This is between Jonathan Martin and Richie Incognito. We don't have to talk about Incognito right now. That can be held for a later subject.
Yeah, and the other part of it is the team. The team played terrible this week against Tampa Bay, and
touchy subject.
Yeah, I'm sure it is for you, Mark. But I mean, the thing is, you don't want to do things that damage your team. And I mean, I'm not saying it was Incognito by himself. I'm not saying it was Martin by himself. I'm saying the two of them put together with this whole situation have damaged their team's chances to win. They lost to a winless team this week, and that's no good. If you're creating a distraction that big that your team is unable to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that's a problem.
And that's something that, we'll kind of delve deeper into is, whose fault is this really? I mean, do you blame Incognito for the way this is blown up? Do you blame Martin for taking it too personally, or do you just blame the culture in the locker room?
Well, I blame the media for blowing it up. And I feel like when this whole story came out, they didn't really get all the information. There was one text message that we weren't told. At the end of the text message that Incognito sent to Martin, he had said, "Call me back, man." Mm-hmm. And that's something that we weren't told. There were other things that we weren't told about the entire situation. So, it could go either way, but I think that the biggest part of it is that it impacted the team's play on Sunday.
Right, and I mean, maybe I'm the most gullible person in the world, but we all watched the Jay Glazer interview, the sit-down that he had. He seemed like he had a legitimate explanation for a lot of the questions that he was being asked.
The interview helped him, and that was surprising.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. We actually have a caller right now. Let's go ahead and put him on, Brian. Let's see what this guy has to say, whoever we have on. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going today? What we got here?
This is Brendan calling from Southie.
Oh, what's up, Brendan from Southie?
How you doing, Brendan?
How's it going?
How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Just calling up. I hope you guys are having a good show so far.
We are.
I don't know if you guys are talking about the Bruins yet, but you guys probably should be.
Do you have a Bruins point?
Bruins point. Let's see. My Bruins point is, 1, that they're awesome. 2, I don't know how you guys feel about Tuca. I personally, I'm up and down in my relationship with him. Hope you guys have something better to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan, I love Tuukka Rask, and
I know you do.
And I think he's been the most consistent person on the Bruins this season, actually.
Yeah, I guess I can agree with you there. All right, Dave, one final point before I go. I got to ask you, what's in the box? What's in the box?
I think Brendan might be alluding to our future segment that might be coming up. We're going to have a new segment called What's in the Box.
Is a friend of yours?
Well, Brendan from Southie, yeah. I'm from South Boston.
All right, okay, there we go. Got some Southie. All right, thanks for the call, Brendan. Yeah, no, Tuca. We'll get to the Bruins later in the show, but
Tuca's been stable. He's been. I don't know what Brendan's talking about.
I'm glad actually Brendan brought us off topic because I really don't want to talk about that anymore.
All right, guys, first break of the evening. We'll be right back here on the Sports Blast, 1460 WXBR.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I'm 19 years old, and this is how I live united. I've always been kind of a computer geek, and I found a way to use those skills to help the homeless in my community. For people facing hard times, computer skills and a basic resume are so important. It may seem like a small thing, but it makes a huge difference in people's lives. So with United Way, I created a program where I work with the homeless. Together, we go through their whole job history, write a resume, and then save it on their very own USB drive. We provide workbooks and training certificates. I even budgeted for cupcakes so we can celebrate as a class when one of our people gets a job. That's huge. When somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." That's what Living United feels like to me. My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You know that the ice cream scoop can make a child smile, and that by slowing us down, the traffic light can keep us going. You know that the lawnmower makes life easier, that the blood bank makes life possible. But did you know all these ideas came from the minds of African Americans? Support the United Negro College Fund, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Visit uncf.org or call 1-800-332-UNCF. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Ranger Station.
Hi, I want to report a bear sighting.
Location.
My front door. It was Smokey Bear. My husband was burning leaves in the yard. He just came inside for a second.
Never leave a fire unattended. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
Smokey said that too.
We go way back. I knew him when he was just a cub.
How cute.
If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hello?
Hi, I found your name on the internet. I'm going through a foreclosure. Can you help?
Sure, it's simple. We'll just leverage your transitory expenditures into a fiduciary trust, and we massage those assets before your money goes into my private account.
I don't get it.
If you're facing foreclosure, who should you trust? The Hope Hotline is a free resource connecting you with HUD-approved housing counseling agencies, available 24 hours a day, who can give you the information and clarity you need. Call the Hope Hotline at 888-995-HOPE. That's 888-995-4673. Brought to you by NeighborWorks America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Sports Blast with Ashish Sharma, Brian Roach, David Pollard, and Mark Lazell. Check us out online at sportsblast.co. That's www.sportsblast.co.
508-588-9927. That's 508-588-WXBR. Maybe we can have more callers like Brendan from Southie, who's calling to talk about the Bruins when we're talking about Richie Incognito. That was pretty interesting.
That was pretty neat.
Oh, man, more on this Richie Incognito story. We've been talking about how he's been getting a lot of support lately from media members, from fans, from teammates, both current and former. But one guy is not giving him a lot of support, and that is Trevor Price of Fox Sports Fox Sports 1 or some show that they have on there. He actually recently said something that I believe we have another sound clip, right, Brian?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's go ahead and see what he had to say.
Yeah, Richie Incognito, he's a jackass. So let's just be honest. I've played against him 1,000 times. He's not even that good enough. He's not good enough to be a jerk.
That is classic. I love it. Channeling his inner Obama. You remember when Obama called Kanye something like that? When Kanye goes to VMAs, he goes up to the stage and he's like, "Hey, you know what, Taylor? I'll give you the mic back, but Beyonce she had the best music video of all time." That's actually a pretty good. There you go. Yeah. See, it's pretty much. I mean, he's right on with that, but in this current situation that we're looking at right now, when you look at all the facts, I think he's getting a bad rap because. We saw the text messages, we all did. We discussed that, and I think he's getting a little too much criticism, even though he's a meathead, as Dave would say.
I really think Jonathan Martin, like I said, he was kind of a sissy because, you do an experience, and then if it affects you personally, you get offended, and you go run into mommy and daddy. And that's what Jonathan Martin did. He went home. He didn't feel comfortable being in the locker room when he could have just stood up for himself and, make a statement and make his case and to Richie Incognito. And that would actually toughen up Jonathan Martin because that's what I think Richie Incognito was trying to do. He was just trying to get to him, and it got to him too far.
Yeah, and this was the thing that we were talking about last week. How do you toughen a guy up, really? And I think we thought last week Incognito obviously had gone too far with what he was doing to Jonathan Martin, and the hazing had gotten to a point where a lot of people were not calling it hazing, they were calling it bullying. So, I mean, is Incognito a jackass, like Trevor Price says? Maybe. Yeah, probably. But is he a bully? That's really like where it comes down to where did the media really blow this out of proportion? Because everyone was calling him a bully. Maybe he's just a jackass.
Yeah, because Martin, according to more Fox NFL Sunday exclusive stuff here that they've gotten, 3 days after Martin leaves the team, he texts Richie Incognito, and this is what he said. "What's up, man? The world's gone crazy, LOL. I'm good, though. Congrats on the win." And then he followed up with, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm assuming after he was texted by Incognito. "Yeah, I'm good, man. It's insane, bro, but just know I don't blame you guys at all. It's all just the culture around football, and the locker room got to me a little."
And that's all it could be. You know, he could just not be up for the NFL.
So then, Mark, my question is, why isn't he saying anything? Why is he just letting Incognito take all this blame?
I feel like they want to do more investigation right now before he actually speaks.
But if he holds the key here to just, this whole overblown situation, if he can just come back and say, hey, you know what, lay off Incognito.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. This is me.
Yeah, but the
Maybe
NFL...
they're best friends.
The NFL has...
And we don't know it.
They are. That's what they're being described as, best friends.
Yeah, my best friend.
Exactly. That's what I've been hearing, is that they're best buds. Even Ryan Tannehill said it.
But the NFL has a process and in which they want to, go by. And I really think Jonathan Martin, by going out and instead of going into the investigation of the locker rooms, I really think Martin should wait until the end of the week to approach this when all the stuff comes out.
Yeah, I
Because then
guess...
he wraps up the story in a conclusion, you know what I mean? You get the conclusion of the whole story.
Right. I just see. I feel like at this point the story is going to come to a close, and we're just going to be back at square one, where Jonathan Martin and Richie and Incognito are on a team together,
and
playing together,
still a jackass.
and that's just how it's going to end up. And this whole story is going to come and go.
Wait, you really think they're both going to be in the league still? Or you don't think Martin's going to be
they're both going to be in the league. They're both going to be in the league. I don't know if they're both going to be on the Dolphins, but they're both going to be in the league.
Yeah, you heard Martin. Martin wants to return to football. He just doesn't want to return with the Dolphins.
Patriots.
And that's the other point.
Though.
That goes back to your point where he said, I don't blame you guys. Well, is he lying? Because he just said he wants to return to football, but he doesn't want to play with your club.
Well, maybe. I mean, here's maybe another take on it is that all of a sudden he's feeling pressure to back up his teammate, maybe by his other teammates, maybe by his coaches, or maybe by the media. Maybe he is now coming out, and it did hurt him more than he's now saying.
Yep.
And it's just a mess of a story. It really should have been handled internally. If Jonathan Martin had a problem with Incognito, go to your coach. Go to someone within the organization. Get it solved internally.
The leadership council.
Exactly. And that way you don't have the big blowout with the media, and maybe the two of them were playing on Sunday. Neither of them were there for the game for obvious reasons. And this is something that it's just overblown. They should have both been able to play for the Dolphins on Sunday.
And that's my next question is this even a story? Like, why is this a story? If this is the case, and they are truly close, I think Brian has some input on this. Go ahead.
No, I just think it's, way overblown. I think, if you have a leader like Incognito, it shouldn't even, happen, because he's basically, the jock, as we said last week. But what I think the Dolphins really need is Ed Reed. You think since he's a free agent now that they'll go after him?
How would Ed Reed help that locker room?
I don't think anything helps the Dolphins right now. Unfortunately.
Their problems are on the offensive side of the ball, too.
And, we discussed this off the air, that the Dolphins don't have a legit leader. They don't have somebody to look to. When these type of situations happen, you can make a case for Ken Wake, but he laughs it off. You saw those press conferences.
Mike Wallace.
Yeah, Mike Wallace. But his approach to the media was, in regards to the situation, was actually, it was kind of shocking to me because, we don't have to worry about that. We're focusing on this team, blah, blah, blah. I know you want to say that to the media, but at the same time, if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a stud-out leader, you have to approach your team in a positive way and not just, baffle it off.
Yeah, the whole thing seems a little shady to me, honestly. People are not being clear with their press conferences.
It's a contradicting
who do
report.
Who do they support? Who don't they support? I just get the sense that it's like I said, this story has popped up, and it's going to just revert back to square one. And in the end, we're going to look at this and go, it should have just been a non-story.
It's going to be tedious.
Well, we'll get more information on it because from what I've heard, Jonathan Martinet is planning on releasing a video statement sometime either this week or next week. So
Wednesday.
We'll see. Wednesday,
it's
is that what
supposed
we
to be tonight? But
tonight. So we'll get more information on it when we get that. All right, another quick break here on the Sports Blast. We'll be right back with 5 questions. 1460 WXBR.
Okay, class, let's all sing our 911 song. There's a fire, there's a fire.
Dial 911.
There's a fire, there's a fire.
Dial 911.
If you can't raise an arm,
dial 911.
If you're suddenly having trouble speaking these words,
dial 911.
Face suddenly goes all numb,
dial 911.
All of a sudden get the worst headache of your life,
dial 911.
Sudden loss of sight in one or both eyes,
dial 911.
If you think stroke may be the cause, never wait to call,
dial 911.
911. Making a difference in someone's life is elementary. Know the sudden signs of stroke and dial 911 immediately if they appear. Time lost is brain lost. For more information, visit powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
We first opened about 10 years ago. We were small, just a few of us, but it was exciting. I always dreamt of having my own business. It was kind of slow at first, but things started picking up. We had big plans, but in our wildest dreams, we never thought we'd have this much work. Yeah, with so many businesses caught off guard by the storm, Reed Waste Management has never been busier.
What will become of your business after a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now, before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
Time now for your WXBR Sports Blast headlines.
The New England Patriots enjoyed a bye week in Week 10. Their next match is against the 6-3 Carolina Panthers, who are coming off a 10-9 victory over the San Francisco 49ers this past Sunday. 32-year-old defensive tackle Isaac Sopoaga will likely make his Patriots debut on Sunday. It's Sopoaga's 10th NFL season. New England is his third pro team. He spent 8 years in San Francisco and the first half of the 2013 season in Philly. Jacoby Ellsbury, Mike Napoli, and Stephen Drew all turned down $14.1 million qualifying offers from the Boston Red Sox earlier this week. Sox general manager Ben Cherington was named Sporting News' Executive of the Year. However, John Farrell was not named AL Manager of the Year. Instead, that award was given to old friend Terry Francona, now with the Cleveland Indians. 2013 Cy Young Award winners in the AL, it's Max Scherzer. In the NL, Clayton Kershaw. The Boston Celtics have won 4 straight games after losing 4 straight to open up the season. The Celtics' most recent victory came Monday night when the Green beat the Orlando Magic 120-105. The C's 4-4 record is good enough right now to lead the Atlantic Division. The Celtics will try to keep the streak going tonight against the 3-4 Charlotte Bobcats at the TD Garden. Tip-off is at 7:30. The Boston Bruins are on a 3-game win streak, including 2 big victories against division opponents, Toronto and Tampa Bay. The Bees are 11-5-1. They're currently in second place in the Eastern Conference. Tuukka Rask has been sharp to open up the year. He's given up 1 or none in 8 of his 15 starts. The Bruins will try to keep it going against the Columbus Blue Jackets tomorrow night at 7 p.m. as the Black and Gold wrap up their 5-game homestand. Those are your Sports Blast headlines. Be sure to check out our website at www.sportsblast.co. Like us on Facebook and tweet us at 1460 Sports Blast. Again, that's at 1460 Sports Blast. I'm David Pollard. Don't go anywhere. The Sports Blast continues right now.
Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
It's time for 5 questions.
5 is right out.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question.
On 1460 WXBR.
Thank you for all your cooperation.
Welcome back. 508-588-9927. That's 508-588-WXBR. It's time for 5 questions with Mark Lazell this week. Mark, take it away, buddy.
What's going on, guys? Yes, so the Red Sox are coming off a World Series victory. The free agency period has begun. So with the Red Sox free agency periods beginning, what player do you think the Red Sox should sign?
I think their priority should be their own guys. Go after Mike Napoli and make sure you get him back. See what it'll take to keep Jacoby Ellsbury here. If Ellsbury wants anything north of $16, $17 million a year for 6-7 years, I say you let him go.
He wants Carl Crawford money, guys.
If you had to choose one.
If I had to choose one between Ellsbury and Napoli, I think Napoli's more likely to sign, but if I had to choose one of those two, I mean, Ellsbury, I'd take Ellsbury.
I would also take Ellsbury over Napoli if I had to choose one. I think that I look at it from the perspective of what will they need next year, and I think Jacoby Ellsbury is going to be gone, so I think center fielder, there's not much out there at the center fielder's position, but Curtis Granderson's a guy that gets tossed around. I don't know if I want him in the lineup.
Though?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Granderson's a free agent.
All right. And Tulowitzki at shortstop if they can't get
they'd have to. That's a big trade they'd have to do.
Yeah, that's someone I want them to go after.
Yeah, I do too, but because he's my favorite player. But I have 1A and 1B. Mike Napoli because they need a right-handed power bat.
I agree.
Which is a rare commodity. Mm-hmm. 1B, Shin-Soo Choo.
That's true. Didn't think of Shin-Soo Choo.
He was put in center field, and he did great this year. He's usually a corner outfielder, but he had high walk numbers. He's a power hitter also. He was like 3-4 in the order for the Cincinnati Reds, so.
And he would be a corner outfielder if they got him because Shane Victorino presumably would move to center field. If
no, I think right field's too big for Choo.
You think so?
In Fenway Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see him playing right field. I mean, come on. When he's come as a visiting player, he's played in right field. So what's the difference?
He's also asking a lot of money, though.
Is he?
I feel
what's the asking price for Choo? Do you know? Is he?
I think it's like $12, $14 million a year.
That's cupcake money. I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Then why not just pay Ellsbury that plus a few more?
No, because Ellsbury's asking for Carl Crawford money.
Yeah,
that's the starting point, guys.
Boris clients, guys. All right.
Starting point.
Question number 2, Mark. Go ahead.
All right, moving on. So with all the expectations of what you saw last night, even though it has been a small sample size, if the Celtics were to tank and receive the first pick, who do you want to draft? The agile, the freaky talent in Andrew Wiggins, the built, raw talented Jabari Parker, or the versatile power forward, Julius Randle?
Based on what I saw last night, and again, I'm all about sample sizes, and I don't think one game is enough to make a judgment, but Jabari Parker really blew me away yesterday. I would like to see more of him versus Andrew Wiggins, but to be honest, between the two of them, you really can't go wrong. But based on what I saw last night, Jabari Parker.
Yeah, I would also go Parker just based on what I've heard from as far as character goes. I think that people think that Parker is more NBA ready. He can contribute to a team once he gets into the NBA. And Wiggins may have, from people who have been around him, they say he might have a bit of a spotlight issue. He doesn't like when people aren't talking about him.
That's exactly what I've heard.
So I think that character issues are a big deal to me, so I'd go Parker.
I'm going Parker, too. Only because Parker's just I watched him last night and I was like, all right, he could be the starting 4 on our team. So
yeah, and since I am a NBA junkie, I love basketball. What is your NBA Finals prediction? Who wins and what's the score?
For this year?
This is going on record, guys.
Okay,
yes.
So going on record for the end of this year. Out of the East, I don't know how you go.
On the spot.
Yeah, out of the East, I know the Miami Heat aren't off to the best start. I know the Indiana Pacers are off to that 8-0 start, but I still think the Heat are the dominant force in the Eastern Conference. They're making it to the finals. They're going after the three-peat in their 4th appearance in 4 years. Out of the West, I still like OKC. I know the San Antonio Spurs are always there, but OKC is getting back there, and they're going to get their revenge against the Heat. I think OKC is going to beat the Heat in the finals this year. Oh, you wanted the score?
Yeah, what's the score?
Wait, score meaning like in terms of the series, how many?
No, series.
Okay, it's going 7, and OKC's going to win 4, obviously. So.
I like Oklahoma City as well, and I'm going to change my Eastern Conference answer because I want to go off the beaten path here. I'm going to say the Pacers. They're off to a great start. They're 8-0 to start the season.
Paul George.
So I go Indiana Pacers and OKC. I'm going to say Pacers in 6 games.
Wow.
All right. So I was going to go Pacers also,
okay,
which I am still doing because they're waiting still for Danny Granger, and they're still unbelievable. So they don't even have their full squad right now. But the other team in the West, I'm going Clippers.
Clipperland, yes.
Wow. Okay, Doc. Interesting.
I just think that Chris Paul, Blake Griffin combo is going to be really dominant. Like I think they'll be able to shut down Westbrook and
Blake Griffin's overrated,
Kevin Durant.
Brian. He's very overrated.
You know
can't.
what?
The guy can't shoot.
You're
he's
overrated.
He's. Oh,
You're
thank you,
overrated.
Brian. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment from you. No, he can't shoot. Okay, he's an incredible dunker. He's a human highlight reel. Give me Kevin Love.
Clippers
man.
in 5.
All he does is dunk.
Yeah, give me
Clippers
Kevin
in 5.
Yeah, give me Kevin
That's
Love.
a statement.
That's a bold prediction, right?
All right, there we go.
Okay, so we have big NFL games going on this week. One of them is the Kansas City Chiefs and Denver Broncos. Kansas City's 9-0, and Denver's 7-1. So does the Kansas City Chiefs continue their run against the Denver Broncos? Yes or no? And what's the score?
Denver is going to go into Arrowhead and win that game. Denver's 8-1, right? 8-1.
8-1.
Yep. Denver. Look, Peyton Manning's hobbled. They got Von Miller back. That's the good thing for them. Kansas City's 9-0. They've been winning it with great defense, but I just don't see how within their own division. I think this is a bigger game for Denver, obviously, because if they lose this game on Sunday against Kansas City, not only are they going to fall to 8-2, and Kansas City's going to go ahead to 10-0.
They got the Pats,
but yeah, they need to win this one and reestablish their dominance in the AFC West. I think the Broncos are going to win this Sunday. It's going to be a close game. Peyton Manning's not going to have a great game against this defense, considering that he's also hurting, but they're going to come out on top. It'll probably be 31-27 or something.
I like Kansas City, and it's because of the underdog effect, and it shouldn't be an underdog effect because they have a better record. But I'm telling you, Kansas City has been going through this season. Nobody believes in them, and this is their chance to really prove. Beating Denver, that's going to make people open their eyes and say, okay, well, I guess we can finally take this undefeated team for real. So I think, like you said, low scoring. I like the defense of Kansas City.
And Denver's defense is disgraceful.
Exactly. So I think that KC
Jamal
can
Charles
put up
is
some
going to
points.
run all over the place.
So we know who Brian's
Is Dwayne Bowe going to play this weekend?
Yes, he's supposed to start. Yes.
Is he? Because he got. I thought he got suspended for the weed incident.
Nope.
But no, he's going to play.
And the Chiefs recently claimed Kyle Williams off of San
That's right,
Francisco
they did.
49ers.
So I say 24-20.
Brian,
KC.
your prediction?
I say Kansas City wins on a pick 6 in the final minute.
That is a really specific prediction right there. That's Brian.
Brian's
for you.
seen this
I like
game in
that.
the
I like
future.
that. Yeah, and so the final question is, everybody, what's your favorite actor? Who is your favorite actor? And what's your favorite movie?
Who is my favorite actor? Right now, it's got to be Christian Bale. And my favorite movie has to be one of the Dark Knight movies, I think. Actually, Dave and I had this conversation. I think when we were talking a couple of days ago about movies, I said, the Batman trilogy, this Dark Knight trilogy has to be the best trilogy I've ever seen in my life. And of the three, I was telling him Batman Begins is the best pure movie. The Dark Knight is the best Batman movie. And the third one is the most epic. So best movie, best Batman movie, and most epic. Oh, of the three, I'm going to take the first one. Batman Begins.
That's a solid choice. I'm having trouble thinking of my favorite actor right now. I'm trying to think of a movie just an actor that I would go see almost anything that they are in. The best actor, in my opinion, is clearly Daniel Day-Lewis. The guy doesn't act. He acts like every 5 years, but he's always just like brilliant in his movies. My favorite movie is this Korean movie called Old Boy. Crazy story. Can't even really explain it because it's so insane.
Wikipedia.
I don't think I could do it on the radio, but Spike Lee's remaking it with Josh Brolin. That's going to be coming out soon. So you can check out the remake of my favorite movie, Old Boy, when Spike Lee does it.
So I'm a big comedy guy. So my favorite actor is Andy Samberg. But that's just
really?
He's funny.
He's funny, but he's your favorite actor?
Favorite funny guy too. There's no other comedians
Adam
you find
Sandler?
funnier than.
Come on.
Adam Sandler's sort of hit and miss. He's gotten better as he's
Really?
aged.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he had Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, but he had a lot of dumb movies.
Right now,
Steve Carell's the funniest
Steve
guy
Carell
to
is
me.
absolutely
Yeah,
really
Steve Carell's one.
Andy Samberg.
I
Is it because you started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No, that's
I'll admit that actually looks like a funny show.
you need to watch it, guys. Favorite movie, Hot Rod. I don't know. I just
know
watch
Hot
that
Rod.
movie like multiple times every year.
It's a
So
funny movie.
It's a great one.
But see, whenever someone talks about their favorite movie, it's really hard to identify one. There are so many.
There's
That
exactly.
I mean, like,
I've pretty much dead set on Old Boy the past like 3 years. If anybody
Really?
asks me.
Well, if your favorite actor, is
I just went with
Christian
favorite.
Bale.
I just picked favorite actor, favorite
then
movie.
I would say your favorite movie is with that favorite actor. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, like...
It doesn't have to be, though.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Like,
mine's Denzel Washington.
Denzel, Mark Wahlberg.
And what's your favorite movie? Snakes on a Plane?
No, that's Samuel L. Jackson, Brian.
I know it is.
Denzel is
I'm just saying. I'm just naming random movies that I think you'd like.
Are you saying Snakes on a Plane isn't a good movie?
It's okay.
I'm tired of these snakes on this plane.
Oh, man. Where's the bleep button? No, but, Saving Private Ryan was a good movie.
Awesome movie.
The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise.
Gladiator?
I love that movie. Gladiator, Russell
Gladiator.
Crowe.
Yep.
Those are some great movies.
Gladiator, man.
I love how we talk a lot about movies on this show. It's like we should change this to the movie blast.
We still got 4 minutes on the 5 questions segment.
Yeah.
Have you seen Body of Lies with Leonardo DiCaprio?
That's a great movie. Russell Crowe gained so much weight for that role.
He did.
He looks so fat.
I like Russell Crowe, too.
Yeah, Russell Crowe. Like I think of
they're
Russell.
just big-boned. They're not fat.
Big boned. No, see, the thing is, when I think of Russell Crowe, I think of, are you not entertained?
Yeah.
Are you not entertained? Like this jacked gladiator.
Yeah.
Totally badass. And then I watch Body of Lies and I see this fat guy.
Did you see him in Les Miserables? Because that might have changed your
I actually did not see Les Mis.
Well, he can't sing.
You know what's great, too? A Beautiful Mind.
Beautiful, awesome movie.
Butterfly Effect. Have you ever seen that movie?
Butterfly Effect, yep.
That's a great movie.
It's not with Russell Crowe, though. Ashton Kutcher's in that movie.
I know.
That's a good one. Actually, that's Ashton Kutcher's
I'm just
best
naming
movie.
movies.
This is the guy that thinks Andy Samberg is the greatest actor ever.
No strings attached.
I didn't say ever.
No strings
Best
attached.
actor ever.
What movie are you guys looking forward to this coming?
That's coming out?
Because it's November, December. It's the movie season. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I mean, refresh my memory.
The new
You're the
Superman
movie. Oh, no. Let's
Which
not
one?
go there. Let's not go there. The new
Man
Ben
of
Affleck
Steel?
Batman one. No. That's
Oh,
going to be awful.
Batman versus Superman.
No, not that one. The one with Lex Luthor as Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston,
Lex
you know what
Luthor.
it is? I said this to you guys. I said they probably saw him shave his head in Breaking Bad, and they said, you know what? He looks a lot like Lex Luthor. I think any guy that's that age, that's,
I changed my answer, by the way. Bryan Cranston is my favorite actor.
Yeah, I think after watching Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
I was thinking in terms of
agree.
movies, but
you can go
Bryan
anyway.
Cranston is just unbelievable in Breaking Bad. So good.
Just remember,
I'm so
he was
sad that
also
show's
the
over.
father on Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah. That's the best part about it.
You know what I just realized? I was watching a lot of Malcolm in the Middle clips. He runs around in his underwear a lot. And maybe that's where they got, hey, let's put Walter White in his underwear
He's
a
in
lot.
his underwear in both shows.
His whitey tighties.
Exactly. Bryan Cranston is really talented.
I think the movie. I like the Oscar movies, but I think the one I'm looking most forward to this year is Anchorman 2.
Oh,
I can't wait.
The legend continues.
It does, indeed.
Is this a gumball machine? No, it's a Dodge Durango.
I'm going to see that opening weekend.
I'll probably see it. If there's a midnight show, I'll try and
Brian
see
is
that.
going to dress up like Ron Burgundy and go to the theater. He's going to be one of those guys.
I'm
midnight
not
shows
do
are a
that.
struggle, though.
People
if
would
you've
think I'm a
ever been to one.
Scotch. I love Scotch.
Now, Brown
we're on the air. We're on the air right
sorry,
now.
guys.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. But yeah, midnight shows are a little bit of a struggle, so maybe I'll go see it the day.
Who put a
the
question
day
mark in
comes
the
out.
teleprompter? You know he reads everything.
That is a great movie. You know what? After this show, let's watch Anchorman.
Yeah,
let's just sit here. I have it on my computer.
Most
Watch
quotable movie of all time.
Sit outside in the cold.
Absolutely. Play more wiffle ball, maybe. All right, guys. Well, that is 5 questions with Mark. Mark, thanks so much for hosting.
Yeah, no problem.
I guess next week, I think it's me. Back to 5 questions. So I'll have some good ones. Ooh, a lot of pressure. Anyways, back up against another break here on the Sports Blast. We'll be coming back talking some football. You won't want to miss it. 1460 WXBR.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So I'm having this debate with a landlord.
I said, no pets. Can't rent you the apartment.
My dog is not a pet. Look, I'm legally blind. I need my guide dog.
Sorry, those are the rules.
Rules that allow for housing discrimination? So I made a call to HUD. Turns out, landlords must make reasonable accommodations for assistance animals.
If you think you've been discriminated against, call HUD at 1-800-669-9777 or go to hud.gov/fair housing.
Fair housing is your right. Use it.
A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
I'll pick you up after school. Okay, I got it.
It's easy to take a day for granted. You and your family are connected by routine, and you stick to it. But what if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if your day's routine is disrupted and you can't reach your family? Have you planned for that? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Today. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Ready.gov. This message brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Sports Blast on 1460 WXBR.
This is an environment of welcoming, and you should just get the hell out of here.
Check us out online at sportsblast.co.
Can I hear it again? Do you have time?
That's www.sportsblast.co.
Welcome back to the Sports Blast. 508-588-9927. That's 508-588-WXBR. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at 1460 Sports Blast. Guys, the Pats were off this past Sunday, and except for Mark, I know all of us were kind of in tears because every Sunday during football season when you don't, the bye week, when you don't play.
The game was on Monday, so.
It sucks. Yeah, well, your game, yeah, so your Sunday was pretty empty, too.
That was the worst Monday night game I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I don't think so. Over Vikings and Giants.
Oh yeah,
that
true.
game was
that one was
that was like a
too.
JV football.
Well, I meant it was bad for the Miami Dolphins.
Oh,
you know,
sure was.
And for Mark. But since the Pats were on a bye, guys, what games were you watching? I know I was watching Cincinnati and Baltimore, and I know Mark was too. That A.J. Green reception at the end of the game on the Hail Mary, what was Jamesy Hedibo trying to do?
It killed me in fantasy, too. I actually won by, 2 points, but my brother was like, yes! So I was like, you got
You look at the clock management there by the offense and Andy Dalton. They were just kind of meandering around. It's like, dude, you've got no timeouts.
It
20
stinks
seconds
they
left.
lost, though.
Yeah, no, if they had completed the comeback, I think Hedibo would have been released.
And, yeah, Hedibo just tipped it up when, the ball's going out of bounds anyway. It was sailing out
I never
of
liked
bounds.
him when he was in New England anyways.
So he deserved that.
No, but honestly, with 2 seconds left, Andy Dalton just, heaves one up to nobody, and then Hedibo is just like, whoop, I'm just going to toss this bomb. Oh, A.J. Green's standing right there.
And luckily they won. That was the main thing.
No one wanted that
won,
win.
so.
No one wanted that win more than Hedibo.
I was watching the Chargers versus the Broncos.
Yeah,
I watched that one too.
That was a great game.
That was a good one.
Anybody see Tavon Austin
Oh
go
my
off
goodness.
on the Indianapolis Colts?
Someone's trying to trade me him, and I'm like, no, because it's just one good game. He's not gonna do that every single
says
week.
Brian, who
You see how
overreacts
fast
after
that dude is?
Yeah.
Tavon Austin had the game of
How
his
many
life.
targets did he have? How many targets did he have in that game?
Who, Tavon?
Three.
Yeah.
3. That's not gonna get you anything in fantasy.
That's pretty good though.
No, it's not. 3.
He had you want to hit his stat line, Brian, right now? He had over 300. No,
Colts defense is not that good.
280 all-purpose yards. And 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Against the Indianapolis Colts.
The Colts defense is not that good.
Yeah, he had 2 receptions for
Not
138
that good.
yards.
Did you see that?
2 touchdowns, 1 punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And did he have another kick return for a touchdown or
No, two
touchdowns,
receiving touchdowns.
2 receiving touchdowns, 1 punt return for a touchdown.
That landed on the 5-yard line, and he took it out.
That was incredible. Tavon Austin, after a very underwhelming year so far, 41 yards, 47 yards, 30 yards receiving in his first 3 games, followed by 6, 32, 3, and 39. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, 2 weeks after that, 138 yards receiving.
He is lightning fast. He
Yeah.
is extremely fast.
And he was taken in the first round, 8th overall, and very underwhelming to start. But if this is the guy
think
he
he'll
can
be a good player, but I don't think the rest of the year he's fantasy worthy.
Okay, Brian.
Okay. Nick Foles went off once again against
Riley
the
Cooper's
Packers.
a beast. I picked him up.
Yeah, right.
16 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
I think we can take it by Michael Vick.
Bye, Michael Vick. Yeah.
I mean that's one of the games that I was looking at as well, and it's a question: who do you run with when Vick gets back? I mean that's a question that the Eagles are going to have. I go with the hot hand.
I'm going with Foles.
Go Foles.
This is a Brady versus Bledsoe situation right here.
The key stat is, when it came to Michael Vick, he either fumbled, he got injured, or he threw interceptions. And Nick Foles hasn't turned over the ball yet.
Yeah, he does. He fumbled.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he
But
did.
nothing through the air.
Nothing like
he
big,
hasn't
you
hurt
know?
you through the air, and
like
that's
interceptions. That's based on precision and accuracy.
What's worse, a fumble for a quarterback or an interception?
An interception.
Well, I'd say an interception too. I mean, it depends on how often you do either one. Obviously, if a quarterback's fumbling far more than he's having the ball intercepted, then the fumbles are a problem for that particular quarterback. But I think that you look at the way that Foles has played, and with the 0 interceptions, you've got to go with him because he hasn't hurt you through the air. That's the main thing that you want to look at for a quarterback. Has he hurt you through the air?
And if a quarterback fumbles on, let's say, a strip sack, that's on the offensive line. Unless he's stood in the pocket for like 7 seconds and hasn't thrown the ball, in which case that's on him.
Yeah.
But then if he's running out of the pocket and he fumbles on his own or he gets hit and the ball pops out, that's on him too.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see where Brian's coming from.
Did you watch Tony Romo get
annihilated
so much? Yeah, Romo really does. The whole
so does Dallas.
Cowboys.
Dallas sucks.
Oh my god.
DeMarco Murray is pretty good.
DeMarco Murray's the one good thing on that team. Seriously. Okay, but guys, one thing I want to talk about. While we're on the subject of Texas as a state, Ed Reed was released by the Houston Texans and actually cleared waivers, to my surprise. I thought someone would claim him. Do you think Bill Belichick, who, by the way, is infatuated with Ed Reed, do you think he makes a claim on him or at least goes after him now that he's an unrestricted free agent?
I would. I definitely, doesn't he say, he seems like the perfect rental for a team that might need a little bit more on defense. I mean, it's
especially with Gregory out.
Yeah.
Do we know how long Gregory's going to be out with this thumb injury? I'm guessing.
I'm not sure.
I don't think he's not on IR, so he will come back at some point. But yeah, if Ed Reed is willing to come to New England,
he's a winner, man. He's a gamer. And
is he Ed Reed from 5 years ago? Absolutely not. But that's still Ed Reed.
Right.
That's what I was going to say.
Brings you good experience to the table. I would do it if I were Bill Belichick. Why not?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think he was underperforming with the Texans. I mean, that's part of a release. Usually the player doesn't, he doesn't like the team, but also he's not performing up to par. And
neither are the Texans.
Neither the Texans. So it's like a win-win for him.
Right.
He gets away from a losing team, and then he has the ability to pick a team he wants to go to.
Look, if I honestly believe if it's not the Patriots, it's gonna be a winning team that's gonna pick Ed Reed up. So I think take a shot at him. Don't let one of your opponents go out and get Ed
Denver.
Reed. Because I mean that's the last. Isn't that the last thing you want? The way that Ed Reed has played against you in the past,
right?
To have him be somebody on an opposing team that you're gonna have to go through.
Well, Belichick could definitely call out defenses well too, since he's been around a while.
Yeah, big veteran experience there.
He could be the one with the green dot on him,
And I know that the playbook for the Patriots is always confusing and tough for new players to pick up. I think if anybody's a smart enough veteran to pick it up, it's Ed Reed. I go out, I get that guy. He's a perfect rental if you're trying to win a Super Bowl.
And one thing I'm kind of wondering is, well, if Bill Belichick had an opportunity to at least kick the tires on Ed Reed during free agency, why didn't he do it? To our knowledge, he didn't even look twice at Ed Reed. When he had the chance this past offseason. Maybe he knew he was going after big money. But now that he's been released by the Texans and he's a free agent, he might kind of call his agent and say, hey,
go get him.
How much would it take to bring Ed Reed to New England?
And that's the best part.
$1.5 million probably.
That's the best part. They can actually control the money to throw to him.
Yeah.
They can give a clearance tag or they can put him pretty high up there, but I really think if Belichick really respects him, he'll give him a decent offer, and he'll want to come to New England for sure.
Belichick seems to shy away from making the move that everyone expects him to. He's done that in the past, but recently, after I saw Tim Tebow come to New England, I know anything is possible. When I saw that happen, I said, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they went out and got someone else to that, the Patriots somehow acquired Demaryius Thomas.
Do you remember where you were that day when Tim Tebow got signed by the Pats?
I was in the car.
Because that was a memorable day.
I can't remember where I was, but I do remember just being like, what?
How? And is this guy honestly going to make the team? And thank God he didn't. Oh my gosh. Patriots with Tim. Could you imagine if the Patriots were trying to find some way to use Tim Tebow right now as like a halfback or
I have
or
no idea what the
anything
plan
really?
was.
Linebacker?
Oh my gosh,
linebacker would be perfect.
Oh, I would hate it. I would hate it so much.
And guys, before we go to break, I just want to take this moment right now to tell you all that right now the NFL standings, if the season ended today, the Denver Broncos would finish as the number 5 seed and the Kansas City Chiefs would be the number 1. That's
How
so
awesome
funny.
is that?
That is so funny. And I don't think that's going to be the case at the end of the season. I think the Denver Broncos are going to win the AFC West. I mean, let's be real here. Yeah, I do.
hope not.
I think they will. But if they lose this Sunday, it's going to be really hard.
It's going to
be really hard.
Exponentially tougher for them.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot tougher. But I already
It's going
said
to be
that.
tough anyway because of cold weather. So
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Peyton Manning's not great
we
in
were
cold
saying
weather,
it's good
but-
for the Patriots regardless because KC and Denver's they have to play each other 2 times. So,
Yeah.
someone's got to lose those 2 games. It's going to make the seeding for the Patriots a little more.
hope they split it. I want them to split
10-game stretch is impressive. If they can actually win against Denver to give them 10, that's really good.
And I looked at Kansas City's remaining schedule. I think of their 6 or 7 remaining games on the, let's see, they're 9-0, so they've got 7 games remaining, right?
Yeah,
most
San
of those
Diego.
most of those are divisional games. They've got Denver twice, they've got San Diego twice, and they've got Oakland in there.
Oakland.
So Oakland's a game.
Bunny game, yeah.
Yeah, and San Diego's like so Jekyll and Hyde. They've been for like the last 7 years. Denver's the one that they really got to worry about. But wouldn't it just be hilarious if somehow Kansas City finishes ahead of Denver in the standings and wins the AFC West?
Imagine if they
so
make
funny.
the AFC West like a cakewalk.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
Denver doesn't get any games at home, so
Yeah.
that would be really funny. Anyways, guys, we're up against another break, but we'll be coming back with That's BS right after this on the Sports Blast, 1460 WXBR.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by AdoptUsKids.org.
Okay, here goes. I know more about cooking dinner for a party of 12 than I do about packing a lunch for a 12-year-old. I know kids like things like PB&J, pigs in a blanket. Oh, and fish sticks. They do love fish sticks. Fillets I get, but sticks? What part of the fish does the stick come from? I know I can read a cookbook that'll tell me how to make a red wine reduction, but where are the cookbooks that can teach me how to cut the crusts off bologna sandwiches? Oh, maybe we can compromise on mac and cheese. Can you make that with brie? Everybody likes brie, right?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to push your food around their plate. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit AdoptUsKids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Oh, come on. Computer problem? Call Nanny Tech and it will be problem solved. Nanny Tech provides 24 hours on-site service specialists. Business or residential, call 774-316-NANY and we'll get you up and running. That's 774-316-6269. If the problem can't be solved on site, we offer free pickup and delivery. Save this number because you don't know when you're going to need it. Call 774-316-6269. We also provide network solution, web design, computer classes, and a lot more. 774-316-6269. That's 774-316-NANY. Come down and visit us at 1 Center Street, located in Brockton, Mass. Nanny Tech. Upgrade yourself.
You feel petrified. You're struggling with your mortgage payments, not knowing what to do. You do nothing. But if you do something, you're far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making Home Affordable is a free government program. Call 888-995-HOPE to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about your options. Call 888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
It's time for That's BS.
That's some bullshit!
He's a liar. He's lying to us, man.
I don't believe you.
That's BS.
I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit.
That's okay. I'm also allergic to BS. Welcome back to the Sports Blast, 1460
Two after this week.
WXBR. We have a laundry list right here. How many bullet points is that? Like 7 of items that we have to get to here on That's BS, starting with the fact that Terry Francona, former Red Sox manager, beats out John Farrell for AL Manager of the Year. Guys, BS or not BS?
Well, I go.
What was that?
Did that just happen?
It sounded like we
Are
just,
we on air now?
we just got cut off entirely there.
All right, go ahead.
The show is over now. I don't know. I don't feel that sorely about it. Terry Francona did well with the Cleveland Indians this year. And if you look at last season for both teams, obviously the Red Sox had their worst record since 1965. They went 69 and 93. But the Indians last year went 68 and 94. And really, when you look at it, was the Red Sox team last year really that bad? Should they have had that many wins last year? Or should they have had more? And then when you go back even further, back in 2011, we know what happened to the Red Sox, but 2011 for the Indians, they're 80 and 82. 2010, they're 69 and 93. 2009, 65 and 97. 2008, they're 81 and 81. This team never goes above 500. They haven't even been at 500 since 2008. And Francona didn't have the lineup that John Farrell had either. I know that it was still going from worst to first, but in my opinion, Farrell didn't have as many lineup issues as Francona had to deal with throughout the season. And the fact that they came back late in the year and went through that stretch, it should have been close, and it was close. And the fact that Francona got it, it doesn't upset me.
So not BS.
I say no BS.
All right. I think that John Farrell should have won AL Manager of the Year simply because you look at what happened in 2012, just like you talked about, Dave. He didn't, I don't want to say he single-handedly changed the culture because he had help from guys like Shane Victorino, Johnny Gomes, Ryan Dempster, a lot of these character guys that came in and sort of changed the whole culture in the clubhouse. But when you're going